Hi, within this lecture we're going to finally start writing our keylogger. So I'm going to do this in Kali Linux. Of course, the main idea of this tool is to grab the information from Windows and have it on Kali Linux, but it really doesn't matter because we can test our product in Kali Linux as well. Then we can just email this program to the Windows and try finally in there. And in the following section, we're actually going to write on Windows as well. So I'm going to name it my keylogger, okay, and create a new project. And remember, these softwares are like Trojans, so user will have to manually run this, like we have seen in social engineering sections before. But we're not going to go into social engineering very much after this section because we're going to focus on programming these tools, okay? And after we build our backdoor in the next section, we're going to discuss a little bit of social engineering as well, but not to that extent as we did in the previous sections. So right now I think my project is done. Yeah, now it's done. Let me just create our new file and then start coding. We're going to use a new library, new module or package, whatever you want to call it, in the section called py input. Okay, so first let me create this file. So it's gonna be a Python file. I'm going to name this my keylogger, okay, and let me create this file. Oh, I didn't say py, but since this is PyCharm, yeah, it's already been created as py file, so now we are good to go. As I was saying, we're going to use a new technology, new library in here called py input, and that's going to help us grab the keys out of the target's computer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open my terminal here and pip install that module. So you have to say pip install py input, okay? And it's already installed for me, so it's going to update if there is any update. Of course, you might want to install pip3 version as well. And in order to do that, all you have to do is just say pip3 install py input. Now we have our library prerequisites. Now we're good to go. So let me go back to PyCharm, okay, and import this library. And this library actually comes with keyboard and mouse controls as well. So you have to say py input dot keyboard, okay? And I didn't just work with mouse before, so if you really want to learn how to work with mouses as well, you may just go and read the documentation. So after importing this, we have to create an instance of that object, and we have to create a listener object, okay? If you read the documentation of keyboard, you will see that you have to have a listener and a callback function of that listener. So let me show you how it works. You have to have a keylogger listener variable, okay? And in order to have this, we will use py input.keyboard, and we're going to say dot listener, okay, with a capitalized L, and then it's going to have an input, and within this input we're going to specify a callback function like we did in packet listener as well. So let me show you how it works. You have to say on press, okay, on underscore press, and you have to give the function name. So I'm going to call this callback function. So this is actually very similar to what we have done in the packet listener as well, because now I'm going to create a callback function, and within that callback function, this onPress method here will forward the keys that are pressed in the target computer. Then I can do whatever I want to do with that keys. So let me define this function, def callback function. It has to be exactly the same callback function, okay? And it will take the key as input. And remember, this key will be sent to us by the previous listener that we have created. So for right now, I'm just going to print this key, and I'm going to test this by printing out the keys. So let me just take this and paste it below, because we're going to do it something more with this keylogger listener, okay? And for right now, I'm just going to print this, so I don't need any more room in this function. But I do need some room here, because we're not done with our keylogger listener. You have to say with keylogger listener and just a colon and keylogger listener dot join to start this listener. How do I know this? It is said in the documentation, okay? And remember, we are using with unmanaged streams of data to work more efficiently. So I have said that either listeners or some files you will come across with keyword. And now we have seen it. So let me save this, and let me minimize this and test this on my Kali machine. So let's go to PyCharm projects here, and let's try and find our latest project, okay, my keylogger. So there is a py file here. Let me run this, python my keylogger.py. So now it's working. It should print out whatever I type in my keyboard. So I'm going to type this here so you can see it better. So let me zoom in a little bit. Actually, I don't have to type anywhere. It's just, you can just press the buttons as well, but I will show you how it works. So let me say S and it prints S. Let me say test, it prints test. Let me say James, and as you can see, now we managed to get the data in here. But beware that if your user has some kind of different characters like Turkish characters or Japanese characters, then it might have different results. For example, I have Turkish characters in my keyboard here, and I'm going to press it. You don't have to do that obviously, but as you can see, it gives me some different characters when I type Turkish keyboard characters. So we're going to see how to handle with them later on in the following lecture.